Welcome back to Dawn of Defiance with Dark Wolf Studios. Today we'll begin the first episode, The Traitors Gambit. The music for this session is provided by Tabletop Audio, and as usual the links are found in the description below. Now, on to the action. It is a dark time for the galaxy. The evil galactic empire has spread from the deep core to the outer rim, and everywhere the empire's tyranny can be felt. Fleeing from the oppression of the Emperor's minions, agents of Senator Bail Organa have run to a remote space station above Brentaal. Known to be a vocal opponent of the Empire, Organa may be the last hope of freedom in the galaxy. In the hopes of stopping these dissidents before they can reach the Senator, the Empire has alerted its forces on Sel Zonn Station, where the struggle for liberty rages on, and the first sparks of rebellion have begun to burn. Seemingly motionless among the sea of starships and satellites above the twinkling world of Brentaal, Sel Zonn Station grows larger in your view every second. A central pylon forms the bulk of the station's mass, and the three landing platforms leading to docking bays extend from the central section, equidistant from one another and jutting out into space. The dorsal side of the station features a disc-shaped secondary structure, on top of which blinking lights indicate the presence of a landing platform reserved for wealthy patrons. Here we meet our hero, one Mikal Rhysode. He is a Miralukan, a force-sensitive species. He is a former Jedi Padawan who has survived Order 66, which just occurred months ago. He's now on the run, seeking to escape and find a new life for himself in a galaxy where he and his kind are hunted by the Empire. As he makes his way off of the ship, let's first use the Oracle. Is everything as to be expected coming off of that ship? No. Ooh. What is it that could be causing our problems here? We're going to use a random word generator as a portent to get more information about what's going on here. Pull that up here in just a moment. Alright, randomwordgenerator.com is the one that I'm using. We want to generate 2 words. That should give us enough to use something. 0, appreciate. Here we go. So this means, let me make some notes here in my OneNote so that I can keep track of it as things go on. 0, appreciate means that as he comes off of the shuttle, there are stormtroopers all around, informing everyone coming off of the shuttles that the station is now on lockdown and no one can leave. The crowd around is tense. They're irritated and frustrated. Several call out that they didn't ask for the Empire to come here. They don't want the Empire. They want the Republic back. The stormtroopers draw their stun batons, tell the crowd to disperse and to move on. And now let's see. Does the crowd disperse or does a fight break out? The crowd does disperse, but the stormtroopers group up in squads of 4 and move throughout the crowd, making sure that no crowds too large gather together. They direct aliens to the lower portions of the station and invite humans to go to the upper, cleaner portions. There, they inspect everyone's chain codes, requiring them to present those chain codes prior to entering into different areas. Is our hero Mikal able to escape past the stormtroopers? Yes, but he's not the only one. Several groups of individuals are managed to push past the checkpoints. Uh, some are caught, some are not. But for now, Mikal has made it onto the promenade and is able to escape for a moment the uh, watchful eye of the Empire. Let's see here. We're gonna move on the promenade. The promenade is filled with the bustle and revelry and commerce. Spilling out of the gambling halls is the sounds of victory and the moans of defeat, while the music of local bands issues from the cantinas. Go ahead and move our map over to the promenade. And let's zoom in, give everybody a little bit of a better view. Zoom out just a little bit there. There we go. Here's our hero, right here near the viewport. We'll move on to some different music here. Here on the promenade, only a handful of citizens mill about in the main areas, a few gazing out the massive windows towards the planet Brentaal hovering below. Business people hawk their wares to the passers-by, and stormtroopers make their way down on their usual patrol at a leisurely pace. Here, Mikal sees several areas of interest that he may end up exploring later. Gundart's Cantina is nearby. There's a casino not too far from that main viewport called the Credit Chip. Obviously, lots of people are making and losing quite a bit of credits there inside. Is everything to be as expected here? Yes, it is. Things are as they are expected to be, and it's quiet. Perhaps a little too quiet. The crowds are thinning out a little bit, and we now must make our first perception check of the game. Go ahead and roll that right now. A 20. All right. Let's see what this does for us. Right, there are two men loitering on the promenade who do not appear to be part of the larger crowd. They're scanning the crowd closely as though looking for someone, although they're not paying attention to me. These two men, despite wearing normal traveling clothes, are carrying holdout blasters tucked into their jackets, and they are identical. And they seem to be whispering to themselves, obviously speaking into hidden comm links. Within moments, a slender woman wearing the greasy clothes of a mechanic stumbles onto the promenade. At least she's trying to hide it. She's been wounded, and she looks disheveled. These two men immediately turn towards her, pulling their holdout blasters as they do so. She screams out, help me, anyone. I'll offer you credits, money, whatever it takes, please help me." Now is the time for Mikal to decide what to do. He is going to use the Force to sense what's going on, see if it would be worth his time to engage. A 24. Very nice. He feels good about engaging with helping this woman, and he is going to burst into action, looking to stop these men before they reach her. Alright, let's go ahead and roll initiative. We'll add in our initiative order here in just a moment. Just get them all in the tracker. Alright, Mikal is going to roll his initiative. Looks like that's not working too well. We'll go ahead and clear that list. We'll start again. So he's at a 19. We'll re-roll that. Get rid of that decimal. He's at a 15. There we go. And let's pop out our handy Imperial Informants tabs, as well as this mechanic, this woman who has come charging down. This young woman, roll her initiative. -6. That is not good for her. Let's pull up our informants. A 14. And then finally, our last informant. The 12. Alright. Mikal goes first. Mikal is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charge at this first informant. And he's going to swing at him with his snap baton. It extends quickly, lashing out at him for a 13. And 13 does hit. And he deals 11 damage to this first informant, who immediately drops to the ground. Sorry about that, folks. The perils of being a parent. You get interrupted no matter what you're doing. So this first informant has been hit, and he drops to the ground, defeated by Mikal. Move him off of the initiative. The second informant is going to try to now take a shot at Mikal for interfering with Imperial business. his attack. Shooting with a holdout blaster. A 6, which misses. That blaster bolt's gonna fly past him, scoring a mark in the ground. Maya is going to run as far as she can, trying to get away from that informant. It's now Mikal's turn. He moves up. Blaster in one hand. He also has his snap baton in the other, and he's going to shoot at that informant. When he succeeds, the bolt burns deep into the informant's chest, wiping him and dropping him to the floor. As this happens, he hears, "Stop! Hands up!" as 2 Imperial stormtroopers burst. Into the area. Let's roll their initiative and get them added in. So the first one is an Imperial officer, a stormtrooper recruit, the officer, and the marksman. Both of which are going to roll their initiative. Ooh, a 20, although he is going to go last this round. At least until the next round starts. And a 12. Oh. Looks like rolled the wrong one. So we'll go ahead and get that marksman back up in here. We'll use these numbers, I guess. So now at this point, we'll move forward. Alright, so Maya is going to move 3 more squares, and she's going to fight defensively, trying to boost her reflex defense so that she doesn't get hit by these stormtroopers. Now it's that stormtrooper marksman's turn. He's gonna open fire at Mikal. First with his targeting blaster rifle. He misses, again gouging a hole in the wall. Mikal looks, realizes that he can get close, and charges ahead, swinging out with his snap baton at the Imperial officer, that stormtrooper. And he does hit. 14 points of damage. He actually drops that stormtrooper to the ground. His snap baton lashing out, crashing deep into the skull, cracking the helmet and dropping him to the ground. Just then, 2 more stormtroopers emerge. This time from the other side, opposite of Maya. We'll get their initiatives rolled here. Our poor Jedi has done well thus far. Hopefully he can maintain his luck before it runs out. Uh, 20. Go ahead and add turn. And now one of them, armed with a large rifle, also needs to roll his initiative. Three. All right. Maya will do nothing else on her turn again. And we'll sort the troopers descending. The Grenadier has the first initiative. Seeing his superior officer hit the floor, he's gonna bust out with, let's see, he's gonna use a stun grenade, throwing it close enough that he can try and hit everyone. Ooh. 2 square bursts, so 1 square, 2 square. So there it is. He does hit our poor hero. Alright. And our hero has been hit with a stun grenade. It does not exceed his reflex defense, thank goodness for Mikal. Just barely though. But it does hit him pretty hard. So he's going to take half damage, which would then be a 9. We'll compare that to his threshold, which it does not exceed. Then he's going to take half again because it's stun damage. So that's going to put him at 4 damage. He's hurt, but not too bad off. Up next is the Stormtrooper Marksman closest to Mikal. He's gonna switch to his stun baton, move up, and take a swing at Mikal. And he misses. Mikal's able to get his snap baton in between and stop the blow. Now it's Mikal's turn. He's gonna swing hard with that snap baton at that Stormtrooper. He hits, dealing 5 points of damage to that trooper. He's wounded, hit hard, a little disoriented, but alive. Alright, the gunner is gonna open fire with an area attack targeting 4 squares, just barely missing his friend there, his ally. (17) does hit, so poor Mikal's gonna take full damage, 16 points right off the bat, leaving him with 6 hit points and 1 step down the condition track. That's not looking good for poor Mikal. The Grenadier, well, Maya, of course, is going to skip her turn, trying to fight defensively, moving again another 3 squares away. The Grenadier is going to move up take a swing at Mikal with his stun baton. Five points of damage, which rounded down is only going to be 2, but he does hit. He hits Mikal hard. Ooh, things are not looking good. Marksman is up next. He is going to swing again with his stun baton in the hopes of bringing Mikal to his knees. He does miss, just barely. Mikal's able to deflect and escape. What does Mikal have to do? He's got to figure out something to escape from these guys, or they will defeat him. He's going to take a swing using his snap baton. And misses. The gunner is also going to pull his stun baton and move after Maya. Grenadier using that stun baton. Misses. Same, hopefully, with Mikal's very lucky at the moment. Both stormtroopers miss. And now it's his turn to lash out with that snap baton. He does hit, dealing 8 points of damage. He's able to, he spins, lashes out at the Grenadier, drops him. And the gunner is going to swing it. Maya with his stun baton. Let's see what this does to poor Maya. That does hit and knocks her completely unconscious, dropping her to 0 hit points. The Grenadier's out. So now it's, ooh, does that hit? Let's see, 13. He is at a 13 at the moment. He's going to use a force point, I believe, to try and escape unharmed. So we're gonna roll a d6, see if we can escape unharmed. That's enough to boost our defense to just above what was required to survive. And now Mikal, angry, is gonna lash out with that snap baton. But he fails to hit. And now he must decide what to do. While I quickly run and help my son, I realized that I can't use a force point to avoid being hit. So I believe I would have to have spent a destiny point to turn that attack into a miss. Let me double check the rules. Yep. That's what it would have had to have been. So we'll use that force point. We'll keep it as already used, but we'll use it to turn that miss into a hit with that snap baton, which will drop that other stormtrooper. So he now only has one to contend with. He's now going to make his move action up to here. Ooh. And he's going to burn his last destiny point to act out of turn, getting a free attack on that stormtrooper. The final one here. And he misses, wasting that opportunity. That stormtrooper, realizing that he's outnumbered, is going to make a tactical retreat. In doing so, he's going to trigger an attack of opportunity, which, of course, Mikal will not hesitate to do. And he actually drops him before he makes it out of his threat zone. Looking around, Mikal realizes that it's not long before the Empire's soldiers will return in greater numbers. And so he will pick up this woman and move off of the promenade, seeking shelter somewhere else inside the station. Let's see, at this point, he's going to try and tend to her wounds. He does have a med pack, so he's going to try and treat her injuries. Try to help her out as best he can. We'll roll our treat injury check. Although he is going to now be back up on the condition track, he'll have spent those 3 swift actions to move up. And now we'll roll our treat injury check. See how he can help. Pretty close to not being very successful, but he was able to stabilize Maya, bring her back up to 2 hit points, which is a lot better than she was. She informs him that she works for Senator Bail Organa, and this is obviously someone that he knows about, and that he is willing to work with. She's grievously injured. She tells him that they need to get to the deep storage bay V14, where a droid named Switch can provide them with the location of some very valuable cargo. Switch was responsible for receiving and storing it, which was shipped from the deep core, and she was supposed to contact Switch, recover the cargo, and deliver it to Bail Organa. At this point, Maya assures Mikal that Bail Organa will reward them for their efforts, and she insinuates that the work could save the lives of many innocent beings. He also needs to maintain a low profile, and if he can procure this cargo from Switch, Maya will arrange for transportation to Alderaan. Mikal, of course, agrees. He's willing to help anyone who's causing trouble for the Empire. She directs him to her quarters where she can rest, and Maya also entrusts him with the directions to Bay V14. Although Mikal's not doing very well. He's pretty hurt. So he's going to try and sneak back up to the promenade to visit a medical supply center. See if he can get some treatment there prior to going anywhere else. Is he able to make it to the promenade? No. And in fact, the stormtroopers are out looking for him. Holograms of him fighting them are now showing up throughout the station, and he quickly realizes that this is not a good idea and that he needs to find somewhere else for treatment. Is he able to find somewhere for treatment? That is the question. Yes. Yes, and so he makes his way down into the lower decks on his way to docking bay V14. While he's on his way there, he comes across a medical center where he looks to see if he can get some treatment. The alien doctor inside says that they've not had very many visitors, particularly humans down in this part of the station, due to the Imperial control of the station. For the most part, all the aliens have been kept to them, forced to go to themselves. They're not allowed to go anywhere. Let's see. He's willing to treat his wounds and try to heal him up just a little bit prior to him going on his own. Let's pull up a stat block for a doctor here and see how much help he's able to get. Let's see. We'll go with a medical droid as there that he's willing to offer some assistance from. This would be a plus 13 to treat injury. Go ahead and just roll that. A 26. So, according to the rules of first aid, he's going to be able to recover quite a bit of hit points. He's definitely not up at full, but he is at least starting to recover some of his wounds. Let's see here. So it's either an hour of work for surgery or a full round for first aid. Character level plus 1 hit point for exceeding the DC. Constitution bonus. Yeah, definitely going to be first aid on that. He doesn't have time for long-term care. So we're going to go character level, plus 1 point for every point it exceeds the DC of 15. So that's a 26. So that's 11 plus 2. So 13 points is what he's going to recover. So he's not too bad off. That's better than he has been. And at this point, he's going to continue on his way down to Docking Bay V14, the deep storage bay. And from there, we will wait until the next episode. As always, may the Force be with you.